the head of the Wagner mercenary group, which in June attempted to topple Russia's military leadership, was on board a plane that crashed on Wednesday, with all passengers killed. Russian officials said the crash comes 2 months. For all latest news, follow the Daily Star's Google News channel. Since then, uncertainty has surrounded the fate of Wagner and its controversial chief. Russia's Ministry for Emergency Situations on Wednesday announced the crash of a private plane traveling between Moscow and Saint Petersburg. According to preliminary information, all 10 people on board died, including 3 crew members. The ministry said. Russia's aviation agency later said the Wagner chief was on board. According to the airline, the following passengers were on board: the Embraer 135, EBM-135BJ aircraft. Prigozhin, Yevgeny, said Rosaviatia, which also listed Dmitry Utkin. Telegram channels linked to Wagner posted footage that AFP could not independently confirm, showing the wreckage of the plane burning in a field. Not surprised, Rosaviatia said it set up a special commission to investigate the crash of the aircraft belonging to M&T Aero. Russia's investigative committee, which probes serious crimes, said it opened an investigation into the crash. The bodies of 8 people have been found so far at the site of the crash, RIA Novosti said, citing the emergency services. Putin was meanwhile giving a speech for the 80th anniversary of the Kursk battle in World War II. He did not mention the crash and hailed all our soldiers who are fighting bravely and resolutely in this special military operation in Ukraine. But Kyiv and Washington reacted swiftly to initial reports of the crash. I don't know for a fact what happened, but I'm not surprised, U.S. President Joe Biden said. There's not much that happens in Russia that President Putin's not behind, but I don't know enough to know the answer. Ukrainian presidential aide Mikhailo Podolyak said on social media that the plane crash was a signal from Putin to Russia's elites ahead of the 2024 elections. Beware, Svetlana Tikhanovskaya, the exiled leader of the opposition of Belarus, where some Wagner fighters moved after their short-lived mutiny in Russia. He was a murderer and should be remembered as such, she said on social media. During Russia's offensive in Ukraine, launched on February 24, 2022, Prigozhin, who previously operated in the shadows, came into the spotlight. He spearheaded the capture of several Ukrainian towns including Bakhmut, and harshly criticized Russia's conventional military leadership. Uncertainty after rebellion, but Prigozhin was locked in a bitter months-long power struggle with the defense ministry, which he accused of trying to steal Wagner's victories. Tensions degenerated into a short-lived rebellion on June 23 and 24. Thousands of mercenaries took up weapons and marched from southern Russia towards Moscow with the aim of toppling the country's military leaders. The mutiny ended with a deal mediated by Belarusian leader Alexander Lukashenko, under which Prigozhin was expected to move to neighboring Belarus with some of his men. Some of the Wagner fighters went to Belarus, where they began training the ex-Soviet country's special forces. But the fate of Prigozhin remained unclear. He seemed to enjoy a certain amount of freedom and took part in a meeting at the Kremlin where he refused to cede command of his mercenary group. Still, he mostly remained out of the public eye. His Telegram channel, where he usually communicated Wagner-linked Telegram channels, instead purportedly relayed rare messages. On Monday, video circulated showing Prigozhin apparently in Africa, which he vowed to make freer. The mercenary group maintains a strong military presence in Africa, where it has partnered with several nations, including Mali and the Central African Republic.